Hi, I'm Ray and this is TinyTableGames. In my continuing series of Stuff Ray Bought at Dice Tower East 2025. Welcome back. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you watched the last episode, you might think to yourself, hey, is that the same shirt? Yes, it is, because I filmed the last episode and this episode on the same day because it's raining cats and dogs outside, and it seemed like a nice thing to do to get some videos done for the afternoon. Plus, I like talking about games that I bought, even if I haven't actually played them yet. So, that said, well, my wife is humming Arabian Nights in the background after talking about Arabian Nights, the board game. We're Disney fans. It is time to move on to more games that Ray bought at Dice Tower East 2025, most of which in the virtual flea market, some in other places. First up, my favorite kaiju game of all time, Godzilla by Funko. Do not like Funko Pops, let me say that up front. With the exception of one Stan Lee Funko Pop and the Bob Ross Funko Pop, which I have. Other than that, not a really big fan. But the Godzilla game is hilarious, and it's got great kaiju miniatures. I played it Dice Tower East some time ago, but I mean, how can you not like those little guys? And they stomp around, and it's like classic Godzilla. Notice the little spikes on the tail and all that. And if there's one thing that'll inspire me to buy a game, even if I don't like the mechanic, is does it have a lot of cool miniatures? If the answer to that question is yes, odds are I'm going to buy it. And this game is both fun to play as a kaiju stomp around buildings type thing, and cool miniatures. So that was a no-brainer. Had a good deal on it on the virtual flea market. Always go check out the virtual flea market if you're going to Dice Tower East. It is so worth it. Speaking of which, the next game, Marvel United. A little game nobody's ever heard of, pretty quiet. Wouldn't be surprised if you haven't. Yeah, I know, I'm joking. Yes, am I the last person in North America to play Marvel United? Possibly. Honestly, chibi is not my favorite thing. And just the mechanism, I don't know. But it was very inexpensive, and I thought I might as well give it a try. If nothing else, I can annoy myself by painting some chibi Marvel characters and checking it out. Some people are really into it. I will never be that into it, but I at least wanted to get my feet in the water, and it was a good price. So I thought, hey, might as well give it a try. And of course, the miniatures are currently unpainted, so that gives me something to do, and that always makes me happy. Next up, Crusader X, which is a blocks on a map, which is one step up from cardboard chits on a hex map war game. It's an older game. It's blocks on a map war game where you have strategic lines, moving things back and forth, kind of like fancy Stratego, to be honest. Haven't played it yet, but I've played many games like it. Looking forward to this one too. Always happy to dabble into that realm. Just based on my background and all that stuff, I always like those kind of games. Next up, and that was also Virtual Flea Market. The next two games, though, were from the, excuse me, Dice Tower Flea Market. First up, Rise of Moolok. Now, what do I know about the Rise of Moolok? Well, based on the picture on the front, it kind of looks like a steampunk Victorian era adventure game. It's CMON again. So you know it's elaborate, and it's got a truckload of miniatures. This was, again, from the Dice Tower Flea Market, so this used to be in the Dice Tower Library and was used repeatedly. However, all the miniatures seem to be intact, and there's a big storybook, and that noise in the background is the automatic cat dispenser dumping out their food for the afternoon, in case you're wondering. But yeah, so a zillion interesting little steampunky, horror, gothic-y miniatures, which I don't care what the game is like, I would have bought it just for that, especially at the Dice Tower Flea Market price, which in this case was buy one, get one free. So this was the one I bought, technically. CMON boxes. How slowly they close. The other game is Folklore, The Affliction, which I had never heard of. 1 to 5 players, 60 to 90 minutes, ages 14 and up. Designed by Will Donovan and Nick Blair. I have really, truly not much idea about this. It must have been a Kickstarter. And guess what? It's a bunch of people, D&D looking miniatures, going around a map. Like, 500 other adventure games. that I also like and probably have bought or played. Claustrophobia, for example, is an excellent one, although the miniatures come pre-painted, which was always a complaint for me. But nonetheless, looks like fancy Claustrophobia to a certain extent, along with some baked-in story and stuff like that. And for buy one, get one free, there was no way I was passing up a big old chunky box full of miniatures and some medieval storytelling with some, looks like, old myths and whatnot, hence the name Folklore. So I'm assuming it's going to be D&D adventures crossed with grim fairy tales, basically. So we shall see if I'm wrong or right. I'll be playing all these on the channel in the future. How near that is, I'm not sure, because there's a lot of games to go through, as you might see. In any case, I'm Ray. This is TinyTableGames. Thank you very much for watching. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned for more episodes of Stuff I Bought at Dice Tower East 2025. If nothing else, this is a great commercial for the virtual flea market, which I strongly suggest you participate in next year. I'll see you next time.